You're listening to 8158 Stories of Sacrifice, where we honor the bravery of the first responders and the families who stand behind them. Real people, real stories, real heroes. This is 8158.
Welcome to today's episode, where we have the privilege of speaking with Josh Wainscott, the brother-in-law of the late Billy Butler Jr. Josh shares heartfelt stories about Billy's life, his unwavering kindness, and the legacy he left behind as a devoted son, husband, father, and friend. Growing up in a family deeply connected to law enforcement, his father and uncle both serving in significant roles, Josh brings a unique perspective on service and sacrifice. Together, we'll explore the impact Billy had on his family, the values he lived by, and how his memory continues to inspire those who loved him most. Join us as we honor a life dedicated to helping others.
It's 2024 has definitely been a rough year. Uh, my brother-in-law Billy getting killed in the line of duty. Uh, then I've had some back issues where I had to have surgery done and been pretty much laid up.
How long have you been suffering from the back issues?
I've been laid up for probably about six and a half months.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And you just had back surgery, did you?
Yeah, on December 13th. I mean, it's always, as far as I know, it went pretty good. Really won't find out until I do my follow-up on December 9th. But like I was saying, it's a waiting process. It's not like you can go to your doctor and say, hey, I got back pains, and, you got to get x-rays, MRIs, and everything done, and they tell you what you have to do. And unfortunately, in my case, another back surgery. And
yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and move on to talk a little bit about Billy and his legacy real quick.
All right.
Can you share a favorite memory of Billy that reflects his kindness and selflessness?
Well, I'll put it this way. So I would say that, his influence and everything about him, people, it's like as soon as you meet him, people just fall in love with him automatically. Like, you can't ask or find a lot of nice people nowadays. So, when you first meet them, you're never going to have any negative thing to say about them.
Right.
And, that's what I've seen, and I've read on social media and stuff like that. If you need to buy a house or sell a house, I highly recommend Bill Butler.
Right.
And that's one of the things that made him so great on anything that he did. Is word of mouth out in and people's experience. Dealing with them. Just like sometimes Christy and I would stop at Dollar General on our way out to her parents' house. And the employees there, they all knew who Billy was, and they knew that Christy was his brother and stuff. And they always talk good things about him. Like, yeah, he stops in here all the time, checks on us, and see how things are going and stuff like that. Not I don't really see any other police officers that you know just take time out to go into a store or gas stations just to ask how everything's going.
Hmm.
You know, so I mean, it's he's he knows how to do any job that he's done that I've seen. He shows that he cares.
Right. I was the only child that visited Hillsdale, but out of all of my siblings, they all lived there, went to school there.
Right.
I was the only one that didn't have that opportunity. I was able to visit, but I wasn't able to live there because obviously my dad lived there, and apparently my mom was afraid that my dad was going to keep
Uh,
either that or my aunt and uncles were going to keep.
yeah. Yeah,
You just-
Chrissy, she's told me so many stories about, you know, her being the only girl out of all these boys,
yeah,
but, that her parents were raising, her cousins and stuff like that. And, you know, her being around, being raised with all these boys and her being the only girl.
yeah, yeah.
But I
She was the
mean,
only girl
yeah,
until my sister came along, but yeah,
yeah,
years
yep,
later.
yeah. But, you know, uh, that's the other thing. I mean, that just goes right there to show you where Billy got
Got a
got a
lot
lot,
of- Right.
you know, and when you see that and you learn that from your parents, you know, that's where a lot of people get a lot of their stuff from is by seeing things like that from their parents. So
Yeah, Uncle
I think
Bill,
that,
he's
you know,
a wonderful man, and so is Aunt Cindy.
yeah.
My Aunt Cindy, she
Oh,
was
I
a
know.
very beautiful woman, very kind-hearted soul. So obviously, we know where really gets it.
Yeah, love them to death, man. Gonna ever ask for any better in-laws? You know,
Yeah,
wonderful people. Love them to death.
yep, that they are. So, as Billy's brother-in-law, how did your relationship with him uh, evolve over the years?
Well, uh, we didn't really see each other too much over the years. It was always kind of like a pass by. But we always made sure that we said hello to each other. Um, I didn't live in the state of Michigan all my life. Um, I didn't. I actually left the state of Michigan. I don't even remember when, but I do know that I moved back to Michigan in 2008,
Mhm.
and I had to come back to take care of my dad. He was forced into retirement because of his eyesight. Became
Right.
legally blind and stuff. So, and uh, I seen Billy here and there. Here, like I said, always pass by. I know because he always looked like he was on a mission. Like it was always in the store. Gotta get what I gotta get and get out.
Right.
Um,
Is that like most men are? They go in a store like and
yep,
get what they
yep,
specifically need to get, and then get out. Women like to shop
yeah,
around and look at stuff, and
yep. They
God
won't
bless
go
their
around
soul.
the whole store and look at everything like, oh, that's pretty, that's cute. Nope, not
Come out
us.
with orders of clothes later.
Yeah, exactly. I spent more money than I should have.
That's all
But
right though. Keep them away and busy for a while, and it makes them happy. So
yep. But like I said, met Billy and Christy in third grade. Uh, always had a crush on Christy, but I was too shy in school for it to, say anything or make a move. Uh, that didn't happen until years later, over 30 years later. But finally, he, you know, I tried getting her to go on a date with me, and she tried kind of like pushing me away. And finally, she was like, "I'll make a deal with you. You go to church with me, I'll go on a date with you." She thought that was going to make me turn around and run, not knowing that my dad, not only is he a retired police officer, but after he did that, he became a preacher.
she didn't know that part.
No, he didn't. She thought I was going to be like any other guy and just kind of like turn around and take off. Like,
Right.
nope. And
Psych.
yeah, and we dated for about a year, and I told everybody, I told you, I told Billy and Sarah and her mom and dad, uh, let's get her to do some family pictures.
Right.
There's and proposed to her that day. And she said yes. So finally, my third grade dream came true. Because I always say, one of these days I'm going to marry that girl. Or she's going to be my wife. And finally, it
30
came true. And you know, and yeah, I just couldn't ask for better brother and sister-in-law. They welcomed me with open arms. You know, and I love their kids. I go through my pictures and you know, uh, from them all climbing on me and having a good time. I'm
Right.
making doing funny filters on Snapchat or whatever, and you know, going over there for Christmas or whatever occasion
Right.
and stuff. So I feel that uh, when Christy and I got married, we uh, had them both in our wedding plus the kids, and that I felt was definitely a lot closer than just friends and pass by highs and stuff like that. I know, like I mentioned, Billy asked me to help him out. He's helped me out with little things, like go and pick up a almond from a friend of mine down in Angola and stuff like that and stuff. So I mean, I show him, hey, you can always need help. Give me a call. I'll be
Right.
there for you. So, but cause you know, before we got married and stuff, because I asked about him. Definitely sounded like, you know, he was definitely a hard worker. You know,
Yep.
he, she said that he was like doing 4 different things besides being in the National Guard, uh, doing realty, being on the board for the hospital,
Yeah.
being paid the 3 medals, those and stuff. And then when he retired from the National Guard and then going back into police work, it didn't stop. He had his hands in a lot of different things, and anything that he put his hands on, you know, I guess you call him King Midas. It was turning gold, man.
All right.
He was very successful in anything and everything that he did.
Right.
And
Made him
he was
well known.
getting on it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, why wouldn't anybody want to have him on their team? I couldn't tell you.
Right. Yeah. He not only turned things to gold, but he had a heart of gold, and he was a
Yeah.
very honest and fair person, and
Yeah.
that built a lasting reputation and relationship with people. And I think
Yeah.
that's why people loved him so much, was because he was just that way.
Yeah. Yep. And it was very hard hearing that news.
Yeah.
So, and I've been, you know, trying my best to stay strong, not just for my wife, but her parents. But I get my time when I'm by myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you need time to grieve too. Just let it out. And one thing that I know my cousin would want us to do is, get your grieving in, but he would want us to move on. And that's, one of the things about this podcast is helping people to heal and helping people to talk about them, get his memories out, and help us to move on and, honor his legacy. That's how we move on. It's just helping out and honoring him. And I know it's hard. It was hard for you. It's hard for Christy. I talked to my Uncle Bill, and it's hard on him too. He's a very strong man. He's very stubborn
Oh
at
yeah.
times, and he doesn't like to talk about his feelings. He has his moments. He's told me, he has his moments when he has to go by
Yeah.
himself and he has to let it out.
Yep. Yeah, because you know, uh, I don't know what it's like for a parent to have a loss of a child. Only my parents know that.
Yeah,
But as a sibling, to lose a sibling, I've had that since 1995 when I lost my older sister.
hmm
It's not easy. It's not easy at all.
right.
I mean, eventually it does, but man, is it hard. Because, I mean, there's not a day that goes by that, you know, I don't think about my sister. You know, uh, my kids, you know, growing up with an aunt, you know, uh, yeah, my kids would have loved her
Yeah,
because my sister was kind of like Billy. She was the type person everybody loved. Got along with anybody and everybody, and would do anything to help them. So,
Right. It's definitely pretty sad to lose your siblings. I have 6 siblings, actually 7. Um, 1 on my dad's side and 6 on my mom's side. But as far as I know, I haven't lost one yet. I don't know how I'd react to that, but um, I definitely know it would be pretty hard.
yeah, it is.
Most of my siblings are younger than me, and I pretty much changed all of their diapers except for my 2
Right.
older brothers.
Yeah.
So it would be definitely because I have that connection with them because I basically helped my mom raise them.
Right.
So that would be pretty hard on me. I can understand that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like I keep on telling Christy, it's hard. It's going to be very hard,
Mhm.
and then it's going to become easy. But then you're going to have your hard days, and they'll just pop up out of nowhere.
Right, right,
But you always have to think about what they want. What would they want you to do? You know, um, like my sister. Okay, I'm Irish. Uh, so St. Patrick's Day is a big holiday for my family.
right,
And it's not just a drinking holiday; it's actually a religious holiday.
right,
Um, but you know, I know that my sister won't want me to sit there and grieve over on St. Patrick's Day. She would want me to do what we always did, and that was go have some drinks,
right,
not to do nothing and think about her. Or she would want me to go out and you know have fun, and that's what I do. So just not as much as I used to, like when I was younger. I mean,
right.
I'm 49 years old. I'm getting up there. So uh, now it's like I go and have a couple drinks, and you know, I go and see my sister.
Yeah,
And our grandfather that I never met because I was only a year and a half old when he died.
yeah,
I uh, and now every time I go there, I'll go see my grandfather, my sister, and Billy because they're all in the same cemetery.
yeah. They're all together.
Yep.
Yeah, when I was up there Thanksgiving, I went and visited him. Actually, me and Uncle Bill did. We had shots with him. I brought a bottle of 25-year-old scotch. Had a shot with him up there and gave him some of that. Drink that, cuz.
Right.
But,
Yeah, kind of like his what was it, Johnny Blue Label, the
yeah, it was like
$300
Johnny
bottle
Walker
that he
Blue.
had.
Yeah, it was like an 18-year-old Johnny Walker Blue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was his favorite.
Yep. Yep.
So you had mentioned your dad and Uncle Pat were in the law enforcement. How did their careers shape your perspective on service and sacrifice?
Yeah, my dad, I don't know all the places that he was a police officer at or deputy sheriff. Um, the only ones I really remember was I remember moving to Williams County, Ohio. Uh, my dad was deputy sheriff there. I can't tell you how many years. And then after that, uh, he became chief of police of a small town in Ohio called Eden. And I guess, and I don't even know how many years I'm at. But one thing I think that kind of like really put a lot of that in perspective was I remember when I don't even remember how old I was. But I remember one day, a friend of mine and I went into a grocery store there in Eden, Ohio.
Hmm.
And I went to pay for some candy. And I remember sticking one piece of candy in my pocket. It was a hot dog gum. And
Oh,
as soon as I walked out that door, my and the police department is right across the street. There comes my dad running, grabbed me by the arm, made me pay for that piece of hot dog gum that day.
accountability.
Yeah, uh, that right there kind of like showed me at that point that he's not my dad. He's the chief of police. He's a police
Right.
officer. This is what he does. Other than, uh, you know, and plus when I was a kid, when my dad was a police officer, I always remember, my dad not being there a lot because,
Right.
of him working. Uh, so, I mean, that, and then between, you know, his, one of his older brothers, my Uncle Pat, uh, he was, he worked for the Lima Police Department for 28 years, I believe they said.
Lima, Ohio.
And yep,
Okay.
of Lima, Ohio. And, yeah, being on the force for 28 years, you would think that, when you retire, you would want to go up and, enjoy your retirement. No, not my Uncle Pat. He ended up starting a private investigating business.
Oh, he still wanted to be in
Yep. So he wasn't ready to
form.
go, I guess.
Yeah, he wanted to
Just
be in
wanted a
some
lighter
form.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he started that after he retired. And he did that for quite a few years. I just actually found out not too long ago that he ended up actually selling that business. So,
Okay.
because he's getting up there. I mean, he's almost 80, I believe.
Yeah, it's time. It's actually his time to retire.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so between now, my Uncle Pat was also in the military as well. he got drafted back into Vietnam. He went into the Navy. He now the older brother, my uncle Bob, you know, he was he got drafted. He was in the Army. He got drafted for Vietnam as well. My dad and his third older brother, Mike, uh, they got drafted too, but my uncle Mike, they couldn't take him because he had flat feet.
Oh, yeah.
My dad, they couldn't. They wanted to take him because he had astigmatism in his left eye. And so that's when my dad said, "All right, okay, well I can't do that." So he went to college, went to Jackson Community College, and went into the police academy and became a police officer.
Well, he did something with it.
Yep.
Adversity is adversity. He did something with that.
Yep. Because he figured if I can't serve my country, least I can do is protect it here at home.
Yeah.
But now
Protect
my
my
uncle
community.
Pat, yep, exactly. Protect the community, protect his home, protect everybody's families, pretty much in any community. That's what police officers, sheriffs, and state, that's what they do. So I mean, but at the same time, you have a lot of people that, when they get out of the military, become into law enforcement. Whether it's like my uncle Bob, or not my uncle Bob, my uncle Pat. When he got out, uh, he became a police officer. And he, like I said, he did that for 28 years. Then started his own private investigation business. So
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. That being surrounded by military and law enforcement. I know that, like in my family too. My grandfather on my dad's side, my grandfather on my mom's side served. My grandfather on my dad's side was in the Marines. My mom's side, he was in the Army. Uh, my uncle Frank was in the Marines during Vietnam, and my brother Louis, he was in the Marine Corps down in San Diego for a while until he got hurt. And you know, it's just amazing that our families have sacrificed so much for our
yep,
country and our communities. And, I can go on with people in my family that were in the military in some form or another.
right. Uh, could they, if it's not on in the newspaper or on the news or uh, nowadays social media, you didn't really hear about it. I mean,
Right.
like my dad and my uncle Pat, that's one of the last things that they want to talk about. Oh, when they come home, just like military personnel, a lot of people don't want to sit there and talk about what they did. The only thing that you need to be happy for is that, people in the armed services are there to protect our freedom.
Right.
And then, a lot of them make the ultimate sacrifice.
Right.
As, you know, um, a lot of combat vets don't want to relive days, days like that. Uh, I mean, it's just like, none of us want to relive that day, but we know that we're going to. Every 27th of June, we're going to relive that day when we got the news. Um, it's just definitely going to be hard for a while.
Yeah.
Like I'm never going to get the visual of when I pulled up and seeing my wife's face.
Yeah.
And getting her in the car and not giving her a damn about any laws, just getting her up there to the hospital.
Yeah.
That's when I knew that it was a serious gunshot wound. And then they take us over into the OR area where they have us all sitting and waiting. But we found out pretty much as soon as we got there that he didn't make it. Then I'm trying to be there for everybody, but at the same time, the only thing I'm thinking about is, man, did they get this son of a bitch yet? Because if they need help, I'll be more than happy to run home real quick, my guns, and go out there and help hunt this son of a bitch down.
Yeah. A lot of anger.
Oh yeah, but I knew I couldn't. I had to be there for my wife, and for the family, and uh, finally when Bill Sr. showed up, he wanted to, see his son, and they let Bill and Christy and I go in. I knew I was going to have to stay in there with one of them. I didn't know which one.
Yeah.
But when Bill started falling apart, and grabbed him a chair so he could sit. when I knew he was the one I was going to have to stay in there with. And so I can't imagine being a parent losing a child before you die. And parents are supposed to be the ones that leave this earth before their kids. Not the other way around. But I'm not blood to this family. I'm married into it. I'm not part of this family.
Right.
The only thing I can say is I tried my best to, be strong for everyone. And try to help the ones I can to try to get through it.
Right.
But no matter what, he'll always be my brother.
That he will. He will always be my brother too. I mean, he was my cousin, but I've known him all my life, and I didn't have the closest relationship with him myself because we lived in two different states. But he was still my cousin. I still loved him. I had a lot of respect for him. I admired him and everything that he did, and he was like my inspiration to me. And I just love being around him.
Yeah.
And yeah, you are family to us, and you need to be strong for my cousin. She needs you probably more than anybody else. I know she's got a lot going on, and grandchildren to take care of and all that stuff. She needs somebody strong to kind of take care of her. She seems to take care of everybody else.
Yeah. She does.
Thank you for joining us on 8158 Stories of Sacrifice. Every story we share is a tribute to the courage and resilience of first responders and their families. If this episode has impacted, encouraged, or inspired you, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with someone who supports first responders. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Rumble, and Truth Social at 8158 Podcast for updates. Remember to visit our website, www.8158podcast.com. For questions, collaborations, or to share your story, our email address is contactus@8158podcast.com. Until next time, let's continue to honor their legacies and remember their sacrifices that protect us all. This is Rico signing on and honoring 8158.